Late in the first quarter and into the second quarter, Patrick Mahomes really took matters into his own hands and started advancing the ball a lot with his legs. He's been an effective scrambler so far this season, and I think that has less to do with, discomfort, either with his receivers getting open or with pass rushers breaking through, and more to do with a little more cohesion with his offensive line than he has had in the past couple years. I think the line has done a good job of kind of opening up running lanes more toward the front, washing defenders around the arc, pushing people past him so he's able to step up and through the line. So let's take a look at some of his impactful scrambles from this game and see how they came about. We're going to start in the first quarter with 8:23 to go, and the Chiefs have a 1st and 10 at their own 35-yard line. They're in 12 personnel. That's one running back and two tight ends, Travis Kelce and Noah Gray. That's one running back, two tight ends, gets you 12 personnel. Wide receivers are Tyquan Thornton and Hollywood Brown. So on this play, Mahomes is in the shotgun. The two tights are to the left. He takes a snap and he steps up through a wide open A-gap. Ends up with a gain of 11 and a first down. So what's going on this play? The Chiefs, with their double tight end here, have Noah Gray kind of coming over on an over and Travis Kelce with a drag route. On this side, Tyquan Thornton looks to be running like a deep 9 route, and Hollywood Brown is running a post. So as they come back here, Zach Bond comes out, and this is certainly illegal contact. Just comes in to disrupt Thornton's route. I shouldn't say certainly, because he does hit him right at the 5-yard mark, and my understanding is if the contact is initiated within 5 yards, it's okay. So I take that back. This is not illegal contact. This actually looks like a legal play. But he disrupts the timing of Thornton's route, and it looks like that's where Mahomes was looking first. The Eagles look to be running. This doesn't seem to be like a match coverage. This seems to be more of a traditional zone, a kind of variety of cover 3. They have their one safety buzzed down. The other safety is kind of middle of the field, though he's shaded over to this side because this is where your deep threats are. So you've got a deep third, and I'm guessing Mitchell would be the other deep third guy, but since he doesn't really have speed demons over here and nobody's challenging him vertically, he's kind of sitting a little lower as Gray and Kelce go over to the other side of the formation. Mahomes looks like he was looking for Thornton initially, and then as he's continuing his progressions, he notices the gaping hole. Mahomes has always done better when his tackles are able to hold up and give him the comfort to drop really deep. Then as the tackles kind of wash defenders around, he'll step up and through, and that creates nice gaps for him to run through. It helps even more when your guards are able to kind of force defensive tackles to rush around the outside, just creating these large lanes. Here the A-gap opens up between Kingsley, who's double teaming with Creed, who's double teaming with Trey and Kingsley, and Mahomes just has all the daylight to step up into, and that's exactly what he does. If you see it from the end zone cam, again, you can see what we're talking about as far as Simmons does a good job rerouting around the edge. Taylor's rerouting around the edge. They've got the double on Jalen Carter, and Suamataia also routing to the outside. And so Mahomes, when he comes off his first read, sees all the daylight and just goes and takes the first down himself. We jump ahead now to 6:50 to go in the first quarter, and the Chiefs have a 3rd and 1 at about the Eagles' 45-yard line. They come out in 11 personnel. Their one running back is Kareem Hunt. The one tight end is Travis Kelce. And their wide receivers are Hollywood Brown, Juju Smith-Schuster, and Tyquan Thornton. Mahomes takes the snap from the shotgun with Hunt to his left, hits the back of his drop and escapes through the B gap, initially running along the line of scrimmage and then cutting upfield, getting more than enough for the first down. So let's take a look at what happened on this play and then we can break it down. So as you see here, Juju kind of runs an over route with Tyquan Thornton running a post behind. Travis Kelce comes on a deeper in cut, and Hollywood Brown is running a drag underneath. Kareem Hunt ends up just coming out to the flat on the left side. So Mahomes drops back, and it looks like what he wants is this drag to Hollywood. So if you see, the Eagles are playing man coverage, right? They're manned up everywhere. And they have the one deep safety, so this is cover one man, and they have Zach Bond in the middle, who's playing the robber. So I think seeing the drag, this is what Mahomes wanted, but the Eagles had Bond come and kind of get this passed off. So as Bond takes over, this relieves Jackson's responsibility and he can peel off. But again, if we look at the cohesion, so the Chiefs tackles, again, keeping their guys deep, pushing them back. And with the interior line being so good at holding up, this time it created wide open B gaps for Mahomes. He's got the B gap over here, B gap over here. Since the shallow routes were coming in this direction and taking defenders away with man coverage, Mahomes ran across. Additionally, knowing that he had an over route coming here and a post, I think his hope was to run parallel to the line of scrimmage and see if one of these popped open. Safety did a good job coming over, so it was, and Juju was kind of tightly covered. If Mahomes really wanted to, he could have really tried to kind of yeet this ball down the field and see if he could get Tyquan Thornton with the safety having moved over, but I think given that it was 3rd and short, he just got the first down and kept the chains moving. Again, you see as he drops back, look at the depth that the tackles are able to get the defensive ends to, get them real deep so that Mahomes ends up having room to run. I think Jalen Carter in pursuit is probably another reason why he didn't consider going deep to Thornton, but instead, first down, again, Mahomes able to use his legs in part because of the cohesion with the offensive line. We jump ahead to 14:22 to go in the second quarter. At this point, the Chiefs are down 7-0, and they have a 2nd and 10 at their own 49-yard line. The Chiefs come out in 11 personnel. They've got their running back, Isaiah Pacheco. The tight end is Noah Gray. And the 3 wide receivers are Tyquan Thornton, Hollywood Brown, and Juju Smith-Schuster. Mahomes lines up in shotgun, sends Juju in motion over to the left, and takes a snap. He pump fakes twice and then ends up escaping up the middle for a 22-yard gain, setting up a first down in field goal range. All right, so what happened here on this play? Essentially, they are going to run Juju in motion. Juju is going to come out and then run an in cut. Tyquan Thornton is going to run a go route up the seam. And Hollywood Brown's going to run a post. Noah Gray is going to come into block and then run an out route. Isaiah Pacheco ends up coming out to the flat off the fake handoff. So Mahomes drops back here, and he's surveying the left side. As you see, the Eagles in this case are running a pattern match, and it looks like ultimately they were able to cover this pretty well because the safety on this side, and this is what the Eagles do pretty often, he came over to help on the overloaded side. As they rolled Juju over, he came over to help on that overloaded side. We'll see a little bit later that when they don't do that, bad things can happen. They kind of don't have the numbers and they're at risk of being beaten deep. But because the safety rolls over, they essentially have 4 with eyes on 3. So DeJean comes over here. Then Quinyon Mitchell has Thornton here. Brown can be taken by this safety, and then there's another safety over the top of everything. So they have everything pretty well covered. It looks like Mahomes' first pump is that he looks like he's looking over Juju's way, but maybe Juju doesn't get to that in-cut in time. Especially DeJean starts with inside leverage on him, so it looks dicey. Juju actually does end up getting open, but by that time, Mahomes has already made the decision to scramble. He then does pump again over to Pacheco, who has a ton of daylight, but I guess he decides against tossing that one down to him. I wonder if part of the reason is the worry about a defender getting in the way here into the passing lane. But as we've mentioned before, again, this time we're talking about the left side B gap opens up and Mahomes just has a huge area to run. We continue to see that the tackles are doing a good job holding up. Jalen Moore doesn't quite get the depth that Josh Simmons is allowing, but again, getting back and creating gaps, and Mahomes is just getting these lanes to run. And when he gets them, he takes them and effectively moves the chains. You see Mahomes looking left all the way, initially pumped there, and then decided to just take off. And look at the lanes that the line is creating for him. It just feels like this offensive line philosophically aligns with Mahomes' comfort in moving around more so than any offensive line he's had since, I would argue even, I know he ran a lot in 2022 when he needed to, but so maybe one could say then, but even philosophically it leans even more toward like 2020. Back in 2018 to 2020, the Chiefs had the tackles that they really relied on, and then it was a little more patchwork on the interior, but they did a good job. Mahomes' big scramble was through the B gaps back then, and they did a good job of just flushing guys down to give Mahomes more space, allow him to drop deep, and it looks like that's coming again. That his left tackles he's had since then have not been those that really allow the deep drops and do a good job mirroring down the arc. But now that he has Josh Simmons, even though Jalen Moore is in on this rep because Josh Simmons was briefly hurt, he's getting opportunities with the strength of his interior line as well to just run by going up through the pocket. And this bodes well. I think Mahomes will just get increasingly comfortable behind this line, and the offense will benefit from it. We jump ahead now to 3:39 to go in the second quarter. Chiefs are down 7-3, and they're facing a 3rd and 5 at about the Eagles' 20-yard line. They come out on this play in 12 personnel. They've got one running back, that's Kareem Hunt. Their 2 tight ends are Travis Kelce and Noah Gray. And their 2 wide receivers are Jason Brownlee and Juju Smith-Schuster. Mahomes takes a snap in the shotgun with Kareem Hunt motioning out to the right. The B-gap opens up immediately and he scrambles, lays a hit on the corner, or the safety I should say, and gets a first down. So what the Chiefs are doing on this one, they've got, on the right side here, they've got Jason Brownlee basically clearing out with Kareem Hunt motioning out and coming behind him. Noah Gray comes and runs a curl, and then we got Travis Kelce running one of his option routes and Juju coming in as well. The Eagles are in cover 1 man, so they're manned up across the board. And this guy ends up taking Hunt as he runs across. So you see the man coverage, and Mahomes, as he takes the snap, again, look at the way the line is able to just open up. The Eagles basically rush toward Mahomes' left. They leave an isolated one-on-one with Juwan Taylor, and the B-gap opens up. Trey Smith does a good job of forcing everything to his left. It looks like they're ultimately going to stunt here, but they didn't quite do it quickly enough. So if you look at this rusher right here, it looks like the plan is he's going to come fake a rush here, and then he's going to loop around to provide pressure. The problem is he didn't quite get there in time. Mahomes saw the B-gap open, and before the rusher could close in, Mahomes is out the gate, and he's scrambling. He does have the Noah Gray's defender, because oftentimes the advantage here in man coverage, nobody's looking at the quarterback. He can really go. But since Noah Gray ran a curl, his defender's eyes are back toward the line of scrimmage. Noah Gray tries to peel off, but the defender's here and ready, and Mahomes just takes him head on. He knows he needs to get past the 15 down to the 14 for a first down, so he just lays in the shoulder. I mean, this is shades of when he hit Malik Mustafa of the Chargers last year on his fourth down touchdown run. Just boom, right to the ground. A lot of people were complaining about the shoulders he laid into people when he was on the sideline, saying, oh, the only reason is because people thought that he was going to run out of bounds. No such excuse here. Mahomes lays the shoulder down, knocks the safety down, runs for the first down. But again, offensive line remains doing great at creating gaps, creating either the B gaps or the A gaps wide open, and allowing Mahomes the opportunity to run. From the end zone cam, you can see even more clearly Zach Bond's intention here to loop around. You see him take a couple steps, and he's just trying to loop around. Part of the reason he's slowed up is Trey Smith does such a good job on Jalen Carter that it keeps Jalen Carter and Zach Bond's way, but Bond's not able to get there over there to Mahomes until it's too late. First down, Chiefs. And now with 2:53 to go in the second quarter, same drive, Chiefs still down 7-3. They have a 1st and 10 at the Eagles' 13-yard line. They come out here in 11 personnel. The running back is down here. It's Isaiah Pacheco. And you can't see it because of my cursor. There he is. And their tight end is Travis Kelce. And the 3 wide receivers are Hollywood Brown, Tyquan Thornton, and Juju Smith-Schuster. Mahomes in the shotgun in empty. Takes the snap, hits the back of his drop, and he gets some pressure from the outside, rolls around, and then hits the sideline, gets to the pylon, and scores a touchdown. This was a little different in that it wasn't that the offensive line kind of created space by pushing people down the arc. This was actually a stunt that Trey Smith and Juwan Taylor struggled with a little bit. The two of them have had some trouble with stunts. In this case, Juwan Taylor did enough to pass off to Trey Smith, but struggled to get out to Jalen Carter. But to his credit, he did enough to impede him and allow Mahomes to get out and escape. The route combination on this play, they had Juju coming and running it out. Travis Kelce had a choice route here, and Tyquan Thornton ended up going to the corner. On this side, Isaiah Pacheco ran a clear out, and Hollywood Brown fell down. Unclear what he was supposed to be doing. He hit the ground, Mahomes scrambled, and then really Brown should get a ton of credit here because he ended up doing a good job of boxing out his defender here and then getting a piece of this defender here. honestly, it looks like Hollywood Brown has gone to the Juju Smith-Schuster school of downfield blocking, because this is good work here. He gets that one, and then allows enough space for Mahomes to get in for the touchdown. Again, if you see it from the end zone view, here comes the stunt. You got the end coming in. Got Carter coming around. As that happens, Trey Smith's able to pick up the end. Juwan Taylor, with the end of that pass off, struggles. Jalen Carter's quick, but Taylor does enough to just get rid of him so that Mahomes has a place to run. And then, again, flowers for Hollywood Brown. Look at the block here. He's boxing out, and then he just gets a piece of Zach Bond on the way to make sure he can't stop Mahomes from getting the end zone. So there you have it. Mahomes is making a lot of decisions to take matters into his own hands and run the ball. He is missing his top two wide receivers, and then Jalen Royals, I don't know if you'd put him at wide receiver 4, wide receiver 5. That's your choice. I'd probably put him at 5 behind Thornton. So he's missing receivers 1, 2, and 5. So that's part of the reason why he's running. But another major reason is that he and his line seem to be cohesive. And I think that's only going to improve as the year goes along. And I think you'll see his comfort in the pocket improve. And as his receivers come back, I expect this to be a pretty good offense. Definitely by the stretch run, if everybody's healthy, I'm very excited to see where the Chiefs will be.